I think that will be enough.
So Pontus, shall it just be the two of us, or shall we invite a seagull to join us?
That's a fun way to start. Yeah, that's good. Good one. So here we are in Sandefjord.
Yes, and it's 9 hours after the concert has finished.
Yeah.
So we have had time to get a few minutes of sleep, and we have had a time to digest the massively moving experience of listening to Angelina Jordan live.
Yeah. First time for me, and
second time.
Yeah.
But it's almost like an extension of the first time, because it's to be that good. It's just off the charts.
Yeah.
It's just totally off the chart. And hearing her on YouTube is no preparation for hearing her live.
No.
Because it's something extra in the air. And it's the great sense of the Angelina Jordan community that surrounds us. And everyone is in a great mood. And Angelina Jordan, a few times in between songs, says, "Oh, please, just be kind to each other."
Yeah. I like that she did that. She was very human.
Yeah.
And very honest.
Very human and very accessible.
Yeah.
And I found it wonderful that her mum, Sarah, was in the audience and circulating around and saying hello to everyone. Yeah. And she actually was not only recording the concert, but she was singing along every word to every song.
That's marvelous.
How touching, how personal is that?
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah. And I got to talk a little bit with Sarah before the concert, because she was going up and down the line to the concert, and she's such a wonderful person, very open and caring, and she was thanking everybody for being there and sort of making sure that everybody was going to have a good time.
And now in the 21st century, in the year of 2022, it is so great to have a personal touch.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have that on your radar, but to have a personal touch like that is going back to basic human values and basic human decency.
Yeah.
And that alone, apart from Angelina Jordan's wonderful talent, if she reintroduces that into people's consciousness, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, because I'm human and you're human, and let me speak to you personally. Let me speak to you directly and honestly. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's a great message to have as a basis for your career.
Yeah.
Not to make money or like so many in the industry. It's just about that.
Yeah.
And somebody said something to me that I found very sort of on the point. They said that she sings for herself. That's what she's doing. She's singing because she loves singing, and we're just here to we're invited to hear what that sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that says a lot, because she needs to sing to express herself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if she could not sing, it would not be very good for Angelina. She really, really needs to sing.
Yeah. I think one thing she could do if she didn't want to sing is to write, because I think she has sort of writing abilities in her.
Yeah. But I think singing maybe is a more immediate and direct expression.
Yeah,
and she also gets immediate, wonderful feedback that you don't get when you write.
Yeah, exactly.
And I cannot imagine what it is like to be her, to be on stage, to be singing, and to have 2,000 people in the palm of your hand, hanging on to every single emotional movement that you do, and how it must make her feel.
Yeah.
Because she is so sensitive. It must recharge her so much as a human being.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And she was very, very good with the audience. She was waving to the audience. She was... the audience was talking back to her.
I know.
And she was like, "Oh, you're so sweet." And
I know.
it was
Because previously when I've seen her wave to the audience, I thought, she was 10 years old and she would be waving to her 10-year-old friends.
yeah. But these people were older than 10, I think.
Yeah, I know. I think so too.
Yeah. So a lot of discussion between the fans. It was great to meet everybody. Yeah. Of course. To have, like you say, a face to the commentator or a lot of discussions were about the age thing, the age group, and why is it that her audience is 50 and beyond. But I think that's difficult to answer. Really, it's part of it is due to the songs that she chose, but she has a wide variety of songs, of course.
I know, but a lot of young people, a lot of 15-year-olds will listen to music which is trendy.
Yeah.
And, fashions come and fashions go. And when you're 15 years old, you want to be right on top of the latest fashion.
Yeah.
And so as people get older, they become more connoisseurs of real talent, as opposed to what is just in fashion.
That's true.
Trendy.
Yeah. You and I, we know quality and talent when we see it, but maybe not a 15-year-old.
Yeah, you have to have a little bit of experience, but when you're 15 years old, I cannot remember that long ago of how I perceived the world, but it was profoundly different than today.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate things in a different way as you get old. You have a different perspective on reality.
It's also interesting to be here in Norway and listen to her and see the audience, because there's of course a lot of Norwegians and they have quite a different sort of feel for who Angelina is, since they have her here and she has been brought up here. And a lot of people say that they of course discovered her on Norway's Got Talent, but then she sort of fell away for a few years and now she's coming back.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Where when she was like 9 and 10, 11, she sort of fell off their radar.
Yeah, exactly.
But then after Bohemian Rhapsody with AGT, she came back in a big way. But I also heard a lot of people say that if it weren't for the COVID shutdown, they would not have discovered her, because people were spending a lot more time on YouTube. And that's certainly true for me.
Yeah, for me as well.
Yeah. But it's funny because sometimes she would speak to the audience in Norwegian, and all of those who could understand Norwegian, they would laugh.
Yeah.
And so it gave me an idea of how many Norwegian people there were in the audience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it was also funny because with the very last song that she did for the evening, she was thanking the audience as the band was starting to play, and she turned to them and said, "I'm not ready, you guys. I'm not ready yet."
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Yeah, and that's part of her being so natural and being just another human being on stage and trying to get things to work. And it was the selection of songs she has. I think it was 15, 17 songs, something like that.
Something like that.
It's a great selection. She has a really good ear for picking songs.
Yeah. And the other thing I found interesting is her emotional choice. Rather than going up on stage and feeling anxious or nervous, instead she goes up on stage and she gets very connected to all of the emotion going inside, and she recycles all of the audience's positive energy into herself, and anxiety and nervousness do not enter into it for her, which is part of her magic.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah. I was saying to some of her fans after the concert that I think that last song she did, "I Have Nothing," the Whitney Houston classic, I think not even Whitney Houston could sing that better live.
Yeah, I know. It's that song for me. I think every performance I've heard of her really should be up there with Bohemian Rhapsody and I Put a Spell on You, because it is epic defining and mind blowing, and it's just off the charts.
Yeah,
off the charts.
yeah,
And she does it 99% the same every time. They're just little variations, but all of them are perfect.
yeah, yeah.
The variations don't matter. I've heard the original version that she did when she was 12 years old so many times that I think of that as the gold standard.
Yeah, yeah.
So what she's doing is she's putting some gold coating on the gold standard.
yeah. That is amazing that somebody can make, like for instance, the Bang Bang version she did now.
Yeah.
If you compare that one to the one she did when she was 8 on Norway's Got Talent, it's when she did it when she was 8, it was it was amazing, and now she's got it a few levels up and really made this song her own, which is fantastic. I thought that one was one of the there were so many songs that really hit home, but that one really did.
Well, I thought there were 15 highlights last night to match the 15 songs that we heard.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's the emotional impact, it's the emotional content which she invests into every song, which is so much right there on the surface. And, we're just like surfers getting caught up with the ocean. We're just riding on the waves with her.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And I could probably go to an Angelina Jordan concert maybe 3 or 4 times a week.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, it's sort of like bread and butter. It's the way, some people might take vitamins, in the morning. It's just a great way of living on adrenaline, listening to Angelina Jordan, because it reaches the parts that other experiences don't reach.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was speaking to someone and I was expressing the view that having met a lot of Angelina Jordan fans, I think a lot of Angelina Jordan fans are a little bit shy or a little bit introverted. And I have a theory that Angelina Jordan brings out their emotion more to the surface and brings themselves out of themselves in a way that ordinary experiences don't. So Angelina Jordan is almost like a mini cure for shyness.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that something as simple as music can be such a wonderful therapy for the complexities of a personal character.
Yeah.
She is actually defining a whole new genre, and that is music as medicine.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and it's also, she is redefining the nature of medicine by doing that.
Yeah.
So she's redefining what music is, and she's redefining what medicine is.
Yeah. That's not a small feat. That's
no, but just to put it in those terms, is mind-boggling. And how medicine has advanced over the last 20 or 30 years. Maybe the nature of Angelina Jordan's medicine will advance over 20 or 30 years.
Yes.
Maybe they'll play it during surgery instead of using general anesthetic.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're just going to give you open heart surgery and just listen to Angelina Jordan.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Pontus, it's nice seeing you.
Yeah.
And we two finally meet after all of this time.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. Wonderful to meet in real life. Okay,
gang, I'm out of here.
See you later.
That went well.
Should we do I Have Nothing? And before I start this song, I just want to... I'm not ready, guys. I just want to dedicate this song to a very special person of mine. It's my grandma. She couldn't unfortunately come this time because I don't know if you guys know, but she's been sick, but she will be better soon. And I miss her so much. I miss every single second that I'm not with her, and hope you guys enjoy.
Share my life, take me from what